All the embarrassment and shame that I'm carrying around up here didn't really happen.
Nope. It was
fine. That's fine then.
But someone has created you with that.
I mean, that feels...
They've created that backstory for you.
Quite unpleasant.
I know. They've got character.
Feels like the kind of thing I would have done for myself, to be honest. Yeah.
Hello! Welcome to Believe. I'm Phil Green.
And I am David Ferguson.
And this is a podcast all about the world's craziest myths, mysteries, and conspiracy theories. Or at least it was last Thursday.
It was last Thursday, but maybe not before.
Maybe not before. Who knows? In each episode, we bring on a guest. That guest has picked a myth, mystery, or conspiracy they want to talk about. It might be something they believe. It might be something they don't believe. And what we've done is we've gone online, we've found facts and figures that may or may not prove it, and at the end we try and work out whether we can prove it, debunk it, or neither, because I'll be honest with you, we're not very good at doing this.
No, we are the bad boys of podcasting for a reason.
Yes, emphasis on the bad, but we have fun and we hope you enjoy this. And if people want to follow us on social media, where can they do that?
They should do that a lot. You can follow us on social media, BelievePod, at YouTube, Instagram, TikTok, and Blue Sky.
Yes, it's where you can tell us what you think about the conspiracies we've been talking about. Let us know things you'd like us to talk about. We also have an email. It's believeconspiracypod@gmail.com. DM us, get in contact. We want to know what you want us to do.
Yes.
Now, if people want extra episodes every week, and I mean every week.
How
can I get that?
Well, we have got it sorted. All you have to do is go to patreon.com/BelievePod and you'll have extra episodes, early access, ad-free listening, and whatever else we think of to throw in there. But you can join and it would be amazing. Be part of the family.
Yes, you're helping us grow the podcast, but you get extra episodes every single week. It is a lot of fun. We do some more niche stuff, some weirder stuff. Things like the Streisand effect, things like whether Nicolas Cage is a vampire, things like whether or not Katy Perry went to space. The Beast of Bodmin Moor.
Yes, the Priory of Sign.
Ooh, mysterious stuff like that. There's a lot of fun episodes on there. We've got some teasers out there as well if you want to listen to those on the main feed. But more importantly, you're helping us make the pod, and we'll love you for that forever. I'm also doing some previews of my latest stand-up show. If you would like to come and see those, you can. I will be in Manchester, Watford, Buxton, Shaftesbury, Newcastle, Durham, and Camden. Loads of places over the next couple of months. You'll find a link in the show notes, also in our bio. So if you want to come along to that, that's where to look. Right, George is excited.
Oh, he is. He
Yep.
is. Look at it. Oh, look at that smile.
Yep. This is a very timey-wimey one. He likes those. And who is today's amazing guest?
Oh, it is one of the hardest working men on the London scene. He helped create the Queer Comedy Club. He's amazing. David Ian.
Yes, the absolutely wonderful David Ian. David is a stand-up, producer, actor, and entrepreneur. His solo show, David Ian, Just a Perfect Gay, was named one of the top 10 shows to see at Edinburgh in 2023 and was released as his first TV special globally on Outs TV in May 2024. His new show, I Mean, will be at the 2025 Edinburgh Fringe. He regularly MCs at the Queer Comedy Club. He's headlined events such as Milton Keynes Pride, Wembley Park Pride, and Kew Gardens After Dark, which sounds more sinister than actually is. And what is the myth, mystery, or conspiracy that David has chosen?
The universe was created last Thursday.
The universe was created last Thursday?
Last Thursday, yeah. Can't believe it's that old.
Let's bring on David.
Get out of the rabbit hole.
It's a fake. Every single bird in the sky is a robot.
It's fiction.
Doubt your government.
It's an urban legend.
They're actually spraying something in the sky?
No way.
A stream of absurdity.
It's a total fabrication.
Welcome to the podcast, David!
Thank you. Thank you for having me.
No,
although I will say, when you said come on a podcast called Believe, I assumed it was all about Cher.
Yeah.
So I'm here under false pretenses.
I think
I'm
if
so
I wasn't
sorry.
here, it probably would be.
Yeah, fair. Yeah. Although you say that as the gayest straight man I've ever.
That is true, in fairness. And we do, I mean, Cher's not an obsession of mine. Kylie, yeah, we should
Sugar
quite
babes.
easily do Sugar Babes.
I mean, I feel like at this point you are just gay baiting us. What with
Yeah.
your appearance, personality, obsessions, show choices.
Yeah, he's just, this is the way he is naturally. Like it's.
I think if I was younger and had more energy, I'd join the club. But to be honest
You're
with
right,
you,
it does take a lot of energy.
it does take a lot of energy, doesn't it?
It's a
I've seen how
commitment.
much you put into it.
It's a
My
commitment,
God.
yeah.
Like, you just had to chop all your hair off.
Full time. I did
To stay
I had
youthful.
to stay as part of the group. Yeah, they were like, take it all off. Yeah. No, that was
Can
just
I
a
ask,
mental health
so
crisis.
for the benefit of the audio, anyone who's never seen Dave before, you used to have very long hair.
I did. Boob length, I would describe
boob-
it, as it was just
very-
below the boob.
Just below the boob, which you had for quite a long time.
Not as long as everybody thinks, 5 years. But
That's still a long
everybody
time.
thinks it was a lot. Yeah, but I'm 39, so for like 34 years I had short hair.
Right.
So everybody's like, oh no, I can't believe you had like short hair again.
When I first met you, which was right at the beginning of
Yeah,
things.
it was growing out, wasn't it?
It was growing out, and it was long then. It was like that, and that was 3 years ago.
But most of the time you've been doing comedy, you've had long hair, right?
Yes, yeah.
And then you cut it short.
Yes.
And that's been 4 weeks ago.
About 4 weeks.
And has the only thing that anyone's talked to you about the last 4 weeks?
It's my hair.
Yeah, it's your hair.
But before that's the only thing anybody spoke to me about as well, because it was such a big thing. So
You cannot win.
I was like, what I'm going to do is everybody's convinced that my hair is my personality.
Yeah.
And like my main defining feature, so I'm going to cut it off. And
As
all
it should
anybody has
be.
spoken about since
Yeah.
is my hair.
Yeah.
But it's fine. I cut it off for mental health reasons. I went full Britney 2007.
Wow.
So it's fine. It was very dramatic. I wanted to do a buzz cut. But my photo shoot for Edinburgh was in like a week's time. And so my hairstylist was like, I can't do that to you. So we have to do as close to...
I think your hairstylist has
So
got
this
it
is
right there.
this is a gay Britney buzz cut.
This is a gay Britney buzz cut. Yeah.
I love it even more now.
Clutching an umbrella in my bag just in case when I'm ready to go.
And then you can put on a pink wig and talk in an English accent.
Absolutely. I realised for 2 years I've been saying, like, in September, I will cut my hair. After I've done all the stuff for Edinburgh, then I'll cut my hair. But I've been saying it for 2 years, and then things just got a lot. So it's like, right, I'm doing it. And I called my hairdresser. I was like, you need to come around tomorrow. And he cried, because he also has long hair. Yeah. And yeah.
And you're now at the club.
Yeah, won't talk to me anymore.
Wow. Brutal, that club, isn't it? Absolutely brutal.
When you come out, it's hard, Phil.
Yeah,
Yeah.
it's just a series of rules you have to follow.
Yeah, again, I'm not sure I've got the energy for
But
it.
you're already halfway there with the whole Sugar
I
Babes
know,
obsession.
You're right. And actually, when I was at the Sugar Babes concert the other night, which I was,
Of course you were.
I did feel like I could still do this. I could get into this. It was the happiest place I've ever been in my life.
Do you have like the poor mental health that goes with being a gay man?
No, I don't think poor enough. I think.
There you go, see.
Yeah.
That's probably what's missing
Yeah.
the most, I would say.
I know.
I mean, you've had to put up a lot with me, so like you've seen it.
I think some of it I've absorbed organically.
I'm doing it for both of us.
Yeah.
Get it. Also, like, it's a bit like, how old are you now?
45.
Like, you've missed the best years.
I know.
No point now, really.
No, and because most guys are retiring at this point, aren't they?
Yeah.
Oh no! Once you, because you're 39.
I am.
Yeah, like you're,
So you're close.
it's
done.
It's
It's
done.
done.
It's
It's done.
Done.
Yeah, I
When
just
do you
sit
get
at home alone.
When do you get the gay pension? When does that happen?
Like that would imply that we look after our gay elders. We don't. We don't. They just get put out to pasture,
Wow.
yeah.
turned into mulch for the
brutal.
next ones. You know?
with a little ball of poppers. We are told to walk into the
Off you
wilderness.
go. Have fun.
God bless you.
Too old to live.
It's very inconvenient that we're all still living now.
Right,
That's
yeah,
really the problem.
absolutely.
Did you get to keep any of your hair, or did you keep any of your hair?
People ask me this a lot.
Yeah.
So because Dan, who I love desperately, who's my hairdresser, he was not convinced about doing it. He cut it off in stages. So it was not. It couldn't be donated or anything.
Yeah.
So it was done in stages, and it wasn't dramatic enough to keep. He wanted me to go to like a shorter, like rock star length, and I was like, no, shave.
Like a bob.
Edna mode.
I would describe it as a bob, but he didn't.
Edna mode.
But like rock star length rather than
Boob length.
boob
Okay.
length, which like Barbie hair.
Yeah.
Anyway, this is what we've gone with, and I do look a few years younger.
you do
It
look
looks
young.
great,
You do look
dude.
young.
Thank
It
you.
looks great.
And you look like someone, and I
Oh
can't.
God, who? I hope they're hot.
If I said it was someone from Modern Family, would that offend you?
Oh no, that does offend me.
Oh,
The ginger one.
Yeah, but you
Oh,
don't know if you
no.
have ginger hair, but you.
Do you know what? I used to get that when I was younger. Actually,
Yeah,
Jesse
Yeah.
Jesse Tyler Ferguson.
Yes.
Currently about to be in something at the National Theatre. There you go. Yeah, I'd
and we'll
like
need
to think that I
we'll
look.
need an understudy.
I'd like to think that I look like a younger, slimmer version of him.
Definitely.
That sounded like I was laughing sarcastically.
Thank
That's
you.
not what it was. I was
Just for anybody that's not watching, I definitely look like a younger, a slimmer version of him.
Imagine if I'd said Cam.
Yeah. Okay, great. Thanks.
That would have been.
Heartbreaking.
Yeah. Okay.
Yeah.
Good.
He'd make an excellent gay man because he's bitchy as hell.
oh my god. Oh, dear.
How do you feel about Mr. Mysteries and conspiracies and that kind of stuff? Tell us.
Most of my opinion on mysteries and conspiracy theories is shaped by the fact that I went on one date once in my mid-20s with a guy who was obsessed with conspiracy theories. And we went to a well-known chicken restaurant chain that I can't recommend anybody going to on a date, but, I was young, and where the tables are too close to each other. And for 90 minutes, he told me about all of his conspiracy theories while the people around us laughed. So
You stayed for 90 minutes.
yeah, it was desperate times. So I would say that shaped my opinion of conspiracy theories, and I can only assume that everybody that believes them wants to be publicly humiliated, which no judgment from me.
Yeah.
That's obviously an absolutely fine kink, but not one that I subscribe to.
Yeah.
Yet a situation I find myself in regularly. Yeah. I don't know if that answers your question.
Kind of. I mean, basically put you off them for life is what you're trying to say.
Yeah.
Okay. I can understand that.
And here I am.
That is quite, and yet here you are. Yeah.
But you thought this was a Cher podcast.
I did.
So I understand
I've
that.
turned up with an hour of Cher material, so...
So the universe was created last Thursday, or Last Thursdayism. That's the term. Last Thursdayism is a fringe philosophical hypothesis suggesting the universe and everything in it was created last Thursday. According to this idea, all of our memories, evidence, historical records, and physical signs of age were fabricated to create the illusion of a longer past. At first glance, this proposition seems absurd, even satirical, but it serves as a provocative lens through which to examine the questions about nature of reality, memory, evidence, and belief. Though rarely taken as a literal worldview, Last Thursdayism challenges fundamental assumptions and shares deep connections with more established philosophical ideas like solipsism, the omphalos hypothesis, and the simulation theory. So, David, do you remember anything before last Thursday?
I don't even remember travelling here. So I believe it.
Evidence enough.
Yeah, I think let's conclude it there. Thanks very much.
Okay.
No, I mean...
And now, Cher.
But as you were saying it, I was like, well, I mean, it's entirely feasible.
Yeah.
I don't understand. You said that on the surface level, I think actually on the surface level, it makes complete sense. My life has been so absurd, somebody's definitely made it up. Mm-hmm. So, yeah. Although the physical signs of aging, I don't know why anybody felt the need to do that bit.
Yes, it seems harsh.
And also, why every Thursday? What's happening on a Thursday? And why would the concept of a week still exist?
Well, good question. So there's multiple versions of this. There is also the universe is 10 minutes old theory. So it could be that it was created 10 minutes ago.
That's going to make recording this podcast difficult.
Very difficult.
Okay.
Which is why we've gone for the last Thursday one to give us a little bit more time.
Okay.
I think they've just picked an arbitrary day in the same way that the 10 is an arbitrary number. It's not necessarily the day or the time. It's just the symbolism of it started at this point and everything was created as a fabrication.
I mean, yeah, it makes total sense.
Cool.
I actually genuinely, now that I've heard it out loud,
Yeah.
Why wouldn't it be?
Well, see, I grew up in
I think the conspiracy theory went on daytime just wasn't convincing enough.
Yes.
Yeah.
I think you're right.
Yeah.
I should have just
If
read
you'd
it from a
had
piece of paper.
then you would have been in.
We'd be married now. And I would be like believing about lizards
Yeah.
in the royal family.
Yep. Well, they're right.
a lizard birth, Elizabeth.
Mm-hmm.
There you go. Great.
now. Or
Believe
is
it.
She just shed her skin. She's not dead.
Thoughts on this one?
Well, I grew up in Northern Ireland. I mentioned this before. Very religious country.
Yeah.
That I went to school with people and intelligent people. Yet they believed the Earth was 6,000 years old because that's the counting back the patriarchs in the Bible.
Yep.
So young Earth theory. So that's as young as I've gotten to. I've never actually heard of this before. Last Thursdayism. But it makes sense. Like if we're falling into a black hole, time dilates and stretches. So. Yeah.
Are you religious now?
No, there is no God.
Are you religious now? Okay, so to me, it's as believable as the fact that 2,000 years ago someone wrote a book about this celebrity, and now
Celebrity.
half the world, or however much of the world, believes it and lives their life according to some nonsense that was in the book.
You said that, but you did used to have his hair.
I did used to have his hair. It was great
We're
for marketing.
We're very Jesus-like.
I did have a God complex. That's all I'll say. But no,
Yeah.
it's as random as that.
You were a perfect gay.
I was a perfect gay.
That was David's
That was
show.
a previous show, yes. But why would that not? That's as feasible.
Yeah, it is feasible. I mean, it's kind of lends itself. It's very, very closely linked to the sort of matrix theory as living in a simulation as well, isn't it? But we could all be, and we wouldn't know, would we?
And I love the Matrix, and it is a trans origin story.
Take me through that.
Oh no! Now I'm going to show myself up on a podcast. So the two directors, the
Yes.
two sisters,
Yes.
are trans women. And back in the 90s when it was released.
Wachowskis, right?
That's right, yeah. Back in the 90s when it was released, there wasn't much like trans media and stuff like that out there. And
Definitely not.
the whole, like, there's lots of different things with the stories like the blue and red pill.
Yep.
Now I'm going to embarrass myself. Which is the pill that you take for the truth?
The
Red pill.
Yes.
Right. Well, apparently, if I remember correctly, that pill, that color matches the color that estrogen supplements used to be.
They're hormonal.
Yeah. And there's like a whole thing about dead naming. Like Neo is constantly being dead named by the people that are chasing him.
Is
Yes.
Neo.
Right.
Yes.
Like it's Liz, I don't have enough knowledge, and if I'd have thought about it, then I would have made sure that I did some more research.
You
because
did,
it's a
right?
while
This
ago
is-
since I read
this
it.
This is good. This is about as much knowledge as we have, so that's
Right.
fine. Yeah.
So there's you should go and do some research on it, but the whole series is basically like an undercover trans origin story.
That's great as
Which
a
is
subtext.
accidentally loved by a load of straight white bros who don't realise.
Yeah,
what it's really about. Wonderful.
The Matrix opened up conspiracy theories.
It did.
This,
It did.
and even this is a form of the Matrix. It give people the ability to talk about it. David Icke, I've mentioned him before. I think his most successful book is Children of the Matrix. He's literally referencing the Matrix, and about the lizards and everything. There's a lizard on the cover, But it is and he's written many books. He's a phenomenon, and he's questioned a lot of things. He also said a lot of things that were true, that didn't particularly about Jimmy Savile, and he said it in print before anything came out about that monster, and he said it. So I always give David Icke a little bit of a bye-ball. But yes, the Matrix helped us talk about things and talk about this. Now, interestingly enough, the Matrix ties into a movie called Dark City, which is... the world was created yesterday. It's that idea. And I find that very interesting because the Matrix uses one of the sets. When Trinity's running at the beginning?
Yeah.
And it's one of my favorite scenes in any movie ever. Oh, sorry, I'm just getting that thrill of that movie for me. That's
forgotten how into movies you are.
I love it, yeah.
This often turns into
If I'd remembered that, I probably wouldn't have started just from fear of embarrassing myself. But
No. You're absolutely...
it was close enough, wasn't it? It was close enough. It was exact,
David. It was exact.
Good.
You got it. That was it exactly.
Good.
I'm sensing that you've had a bit of a rough time recently, and I'm really glad that you're here.
Oh, that's nice. I didn't realise I'd had a... Right, yeah. Actually, come and see my Edinburgh show. I'll tell you all about it.
I'm coming to see your Edinburgh show.
What's the name of the show this year?
David Ian, Am I Mean?
Oh.
It's a very short show.
It's
Just walk on and say yes. That's it.
Do you know that would win all the awards?
Right.
give that man an award.
Right.
The boldness with which
bold.
David Ian accepts who he is.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Beautiful.
That's great. Brent Weinbach has a song called "I'm Mean," and a comedian. He's one of my favorite comedians. Odd fellow, and he's wonderful. I'm Mean. Look, check it out.
Well, there you go. I've completely distracted us now.
There's your walk-on music.
No, that's what it is.
So the conceit of Last Thursdayism doesn't have a singular point of origin, but appears on a contemporary articulation of older psychological and theoretical arguments. It is often invoked in parody or critique of certain religious and metaphysical claims. One key precursor is Omphalos hypothesis, proposed in 1857 by Philip Henry Gross. Gross argued that God created the Earth in order to appear old, complete with fossils and geological features, despite being young. Gross's intent was to reconcile geological findings with a literal interpretation of Genesis, though his ideas were widely rejected even by fellow Christians. Last Thursdayism takes this idea to an extreme, shrinking the time frame from thousands of years to just a few days and emphasizing the arbitrary nature of perceived time. It reflects similar themes found in Descartes' Evil Demon through a thought experiment, which questions whether an omnipotent being could be deceiving us about the nature of reality.
Oh yeah, the demiurge.
Yes.
Yeah.
So, but that theory of, some people believing that the Earth is only 6,000 years old lends itself to this, essentially. Is people think the Earth is a lot younger than it actually is.
And is the concept that it restarts every Thursday or at whatever the point is, or just...
No, it started last Thursday.
Right.
So everything that you know about your life...
See, that appeals a lot less. I really like the idea that you get a do-over every Thursday. Like, imagine if, like, on Thursday, we'd have the chance to pretend that we hadn't just spent 24 hours talking about Katy Perry going into space.
Yeah, true.
I mean,
She had to do something to resurrect her career, and
It's extreme though, isn't it?
It is extreme.
I mean,
Yeah, but
come on,
Woman's World
Katie.
was that bad.
it was
That album was that
controversial.
But as a reaction, going to space is...
Where else was she going to go? That's how bad it was. Have you got to storm out?
Yeah, you're going to storm out. I'm storming out this fucking planet.
bad. How one of the most important pop icons of the 2000s.
Just destroyed
Joy, destroy
everything.
yourself. I think Gaga's going the same way.
What, space?
Well, I could see that.
I could see
I
that.
just don't like mayhem.
Gaga
I
in
feel-
space, in some ways, makes more sense.
But also wouldn't be that radical.
No.
Yeah.
But anyway, my point was, so we're not going to get a redo.
No, that's not... I don't believe that's the
So
idea.
what we're saying, all the embarrassment and shame that I'm carrying around up here,
Yes.
didn't really happen.
It was...
Fine. That's fine then.
But it all
Someone has
Great.
created you with that.
I mean, that feels
They've created that backstory for you.
quite unpleasant.
I
but
know. They've got
that's
created
it,
character.
Feels like the kind of thing I would have done for myself, to be honest. Yeah,
Maybe it's you.
maybe.
Maybe you're the one.
Maybe we're all our own architects. Maybe we got to decide when we started.
Well, I mean, like Bill Hicks talks about that in his comedy. You know, we're all each other and we're all experiencing this. It's just a ride.
Yes.
That
Wait,
wonderful.
we're all each other. So you are also Katy
Yes.
Perry.
Yes.
Well, that's unfortunate.
She gets to fuck Orlando Bloom. I think she's. I'm
In
okay
fairness,
with that.
I've had my suspicions for a while about that.
But we're
About him
all
fucking Orlando Bloom.
God, have you seen the photos? No, God.
Yes, I have.
Oh my God.
Have you seen the photos?
Which ones?
Okay, you're not.
No. It's amazing the amount of things I think are. I made reference to the hole next door,
Oh,
right? And no one knew, and we were at dinner last night, and I made reference like, "What are you talking about, David?" I thought it was like because it was everywhere in gay.
we have a completely different.
I was probably looking at like man stuff online, like you know.
Well, this is man stuff, but it
Cars.
was just
Do you know anything about while I'm eating my salad?
No, I don't.
right. That, I know
That's a
exactly what
completely
you're
different
talking
world.
about. What in front of my salad? And you have no idea
No.
because we're dirty, filthy gays.
Yeah, I know.
I mean, he's a perfect guy. I'm a dirty, filthy guy.
Okay.
Which is the same thing.
Oh, I love it. Solidarity.
Well, it's lovely to have you here. Can I just say the irony, if you are the creator, of you coming on this podcast and choosing this subject as the creator?
Oh my God, it would be so bold.
It's wonderful.
Yeah.
It's beautiful.
Maybe that should be the name of my next show, David Ian, the creator.
Yes.
Oh my gosh, I
Great.
see
That's
that.
Great.
I see that.
Although harder to sell without the hair now.
Yeah, but I've been thinking about this. So I keep accidentally making cults. And I keep thinking about doing a show called Accidental Cult about the fact that I like come up with an idea and then people just like follow along. This is how we've ended up with a comedy club and a bar and like because I just like mutter some nonsense and people believe me.
Well, the Queer Comedy Club is iconic.
Yes, but this was just me being like, oh, wouldn't that be a good idea? And now here we are.
Yeah.
But so I'm like, I don't know, maybe I'm one better than a cult leader and maybe I can't remember how we got onto this, but now I'm believing that I'm the creator. We'll have to rename the episode to David Ian's the creator.
Imagine if we permanently renamed.
Please
this
tell me that
podcast.
I am not the only guest that's come on and made the entire thing about them creating everything.
No, you are. That's
Oh my
fine.
God.
Yeah, yeah.
But that's
Right,
because
that's an ego, isn't it?
no, you're an incredibly creative person, and
What you're saying is it's feasible.
it's feasible. But do you? I've known you for ages.
There's
Do
quite a
you?
lot of bad stuff in the world. Do you think I would have done that?
Well, bad highlights the good.
Right, yeah.
You know, like
Neither
you
light
know.
and shade.
Yeah. So what we're saying is I created both Cher and
Katy Perry.
Katy Perry.
Yes.
And you sent Katy Perry to space.
Yeah.
Yeah.
I mean, you tried
But
to-
I have kept Cher alive for
That is
79
true.
years.
Somehow.
So there you
Somehow
go.
you have kept Cher alive.
Yeah, personally.
I love her.
This evil demon theory, Descartes' evil demon theory,
down
this is
here,
one you're aware of.
Oh yeah, because it comes from a sort of Christian perspective for me, because there's a real strong argument that Yahweh of the Old Testament is actually evil, and there's that the devil is good, and there's all these different things, but the idea that the creative force is actually negative, because life is suffering.
So it's like Freaky Friday.
Yeah, you know. But I don't necessarily hold to that. I think if you get to a certain level where you're aware of everything, you're beyond evil, you're beyond good.
You're beyond evil.
Yeah, like if you step on an ant,
Yeah.
sad.
Yeah.
But like you don't care. But to that ant, that's its life over. So in terms of when you get to being a god, you know you maybe didn't want to kill the ant, but I mean, have you seen an ant death spiral?
What?
Okay, sorry. Because I was just watching this on the way over. So ants.
I don't. This is a gay thing. You're not missing.
No.
No. This is now I'm on my own. Right. Ants will get in.
This is a David Ferguson.
Right, yeah, I figured. I figured.
Ants will go into a spiral because they follow chemicals, because that's what ants do. They follow other ants' chemical trails.
Yeah.
But
Same with gays.
same with gays, right? Poppers. And I'm on nitrate. They end up getting in a circle, and because they're following the chemical trails, they can't not follow the chemical trails, and they just go into a spiral where they're not going anywhere. They're just going round and round and round and round and round. A loving God created that. They march themselves to death. It's ridiculous.
They march themselves to death.
Yeah, and it's real.
Aren't we all?
Yeah, I mean, that really is just life, isn't it?
Yeah.
It's just a slow march to death.
March to death. Oh
Yeah.
In Cher's case, a very, very slow march. To
No,
death.
she's not going to die.
No,
After the nuclear war, there'll be
well,
Cher and
you're the creator,
cockroaches.
so fair
She
enough.
doesn't get to go anywhere.
No.
No.
She has to carry on making music, like at least for my natural lifetime. I have to go before Cher. So if she's going to go before she's 80, I need to go before I'm 40. That's the deal.
There's no.
No. So who's going to remember if you go?
Who's going to remember what? Cher.
Cher.
Well, once I'm not here, I don't care. But as long as all the while I'm on Earth, we need Cher to be alive. I'm already surviving without Joan Rivers, and that's a stretch.
Oh, fuck yeah.
So
Well, the Obamas killed
Yeah.
her. So.
Fair.
your face is like, what?
None of this will matter after next Thursday anyway.
No, because it's all going to be... No, but it doesn't get reset.
No.
Yeah, I think the theory would be a lot better if it did. If it was like a week-long Groundhog Day, that'd be wonderful.
I know, I really like that idea.
And the parameters just keep getting reset each time.
I did watch a TV show a while ago, and I've started this. I've realised I don't know any identifying details about the TV show, other than the fact that this government agency, when something was going to happen that would destroy the planet, they got to reset the world by a year, and but they could only do it by 12 months and go back to this thing. It's kind of like that.
Oh, I don't know what that show is. But
It's
I
a
wanna
really good
watch it.
TV show, and I highly recommend it. I have no idea what service it was on, what it's called, or anything about it, but I really
that's a
enjoyed
pretty
it.
Thanks for the details. So the core hypothesis, Last Thursdayism, is a philosophical idea that claims the entire universe was created last Thursday, complete with all your memories, historical artifacts, and suspicious leftover lasagna in the fridge. So your birth certificate is faked. Fossils in museums, they've been planted. Your 4,000 unread emails, they are in its inbox. Your deep emotional trauma from 2013 has been fabricated. And also, there's no way to disprove it. Because all the evidence you could use was also created last Thursday.
Because it wanted to be realistic.
Exactly.
So
there's no way of denouncing this theory because everything that would prove it was also created last Thursday.
Do you know what someone told me yesterday? They told me that when the first time you remember something, you're remembering the event. But every time after that you remember it, you're actually remembering the memory of that event. And it's kind of the same thing, right?
yeah.
True.
So I think it must be true.
I mean, memory is a very interesting thing. You know how it works. I say this with a bit of you know how Ariella was. You know how Ariella was. That's how we met.
do.
And
What were you
I did it.
yeah, creator. Right?
Which time?
Which line are we on, David?
But I've memories with my I've memories with my issues. I have issues with my memory because of minor brain damage. So which has gotten better recently. But
Like someone's taken out the floppy disk and wiped it and popped it back in.
yeah, like it's the
restart.
I'm struggling.
The Thursday
with that.
restart.
Yeah, I'm struggling with
See, maybe it's not a Thursday thing. Maybe like let's say I'm the creator, because that is clearly what we're
And that
all
would be
most
a creator
comfortable
thing to
with.
say.
Yeah. Then presumably what would happen is that Thursday that we're talking about is actually my birth.
Yep.
And so nothing existed before me, and nothing will exist after.
I see that, David.
I do.
But the thing is, if you are the creator, then we're going to have to come up with a different name for the people that believe in you.
Yes, true.
Because the Davidians.
Davidians already exists. Yeah.
Yes. the
Yeah.
David Koresh.
Also, I think if I am the creator, I feel like I'm very rarely the main character of my own story. So I feel like I've not done this right.
No, you're creating everything to watch it.
What are believers in Ian's called?
But, well, I
Ianonians?
no, the people believed in Ian.
Okay.
Ian Paisley.
Okay.
You know that-
Oh dear, yeah.
Yeah.
Yeah, that's
You don't want that association.
No.
Ulster says no.
No. But again, if I'm the creator, somehow I'm responsible for that as
Yeah,
well.
you are.
Oh, years of comedic joy from that.
But I feel like can we just list a couple of good things I would be responsible for as well? Jane Fonda.
Jane Fonda.
John Crawford.
Yeah. Like, so
Sugar Babes.
That's it. Yeah. Obviously.
Madonna.
Yeah, which all of the Sugar Babes, clearly. All possible lineups.
Every lineup. Yeah.
All possible combinations.
Yes.
Do you think there's an argument that the Sugar Babes are actually just a whole load of different timelines that accidentally got interspersed?
Yeah.
Oh my goodness, yes.
And if you go and see the live show, which I recommend that you do, that story is very much one that's told.
Is it?
Kind of.
Okay.
That's cute.
We're big love of the Sugar Babes.
There's a real narrative to the live show. Listen, I don't want to go on about it.
I don't think that I can cope with that many gay men in one room.
I think you would.
I went to see Kylie at Hyde Park last year with
So
Louise.
did I.
Oh, it was so good. And did we
was-
bump into each other? No.
So I don't know because I don't remember most of it because they were serving Kylie wine. But somehow I got backstage,
Wow.
like in the private bit, and they were serving Kylie wine, and I don't remember seeing Kylie at all. We only know I was there because there's videos on other people's Instagram of me being like. So yeah, so I was there, but I don't remember any of
I
it.
had an amazing time. Why was I mentioning Kylie?
She knows you were there, and that's the main thing.
She does know I was there.
Yes.
Rightly so.
She knows what, because Kylie loves us.
Yeah.
Okay, so everyday examples of Last Thursdayism. Memories pre-installed. Remember that embarrassing thing you did in middle school? That didn't really happen. Your memory of it was slapped into your brain like an app download last Thursday. Sorry, you've been cringing about it for a decade, but it's only actually been 6 days. Your aging dog. Sure, she's got grey whiskers and a limp, but last Thursday says she's only been alive for 6 days. Carefully aged like a fine wine or stressed out politician. Dinosaurs. They're actually cosmic props. So T-Rex skeletons cleverly hidden in rock formations, Jurassic Park movies inserted into human culture as pre-loaded content. Paleontologists, they were created with fake PhDs and student loan trauma just to sell the illusion.
I actually, the first bit of that where you're like your memories and all your trauma and that has just been like, this feels like a really healthy way of looking at the world.
Yeah.
Not disassociate, but just...
Yeah, like, oh, it actually doesn't matter. I mean, again, just to bring it back to Cher, Cher's mother's advice was if it doesn't matter in 5 years, it doesn't matter.
Yeah.
And it's kind of like the reverse of that, right?
I've used like, but
Is Cher's mother still alive?
no, she died
just-
a couple of years ago.
Christ.
She just died.
Yeah, Georgia Holt.
Of course.
Of course.
Yeah.
And she didn't age either.
No,
Like she
it's amazing.
She only died 5 years ago and Cher is in her 70s. That is quite amazing.
Yeah, so Cher turns 79 this month.
Yeah.
Right. What are we doing for that?
I don't know what you're doing. I obviously have a whole day planned. No, I like to keep it clear just in case she invites me to her celebrations.
As the creator, she may.
She better.
Yeah.
Yeah, no. But yeah, like it's kind of the reverse of that, isn't it? If it doesn't matter in 5 years, it doesn't
Yeah,
matter now.
true.
And like just as you were saying that, I was like, it kind of my theory on like I have been to quite a few spiritist churches and had like medium readings and that. And my theory on that is very much I don't really care if it's real or not. If it brings me or someone else comfort, then it's okay.
Yeah.
And that's kind of how I feel about that. If that means that I'm no longer embarrassed about some of the embarrassing things that
You
I've
didn't
done,
actually do them.
then kind of like what an amazing way to live your life.
Absolutely.
I'm going to leave here and just like have none of the shame. Although if you removed all of the shame, I'm not sure there'd be anything left. So I probably need to think this through a little bit.
But you have the opportunity to create new shame, though.
But I'd have to do it before I leave here. Otherwise,
you
like I'm assuming shame is holding me together. So if I get up from this seat and just disintegrate, then you know it was all just shame.
Yeah,
that you
also
have
it will-
alleviated in this recording.
It will affect your act, and that's important.
Yeah, that's true.
You wanna get rid of
actually,
all of
isn't
it.
it? Yes. If all the trauma and shame that has created me was removed, then I would just be like a straight white guy on stage. What's that like?
It's not really straight.
Tough out that. Why do you think I have to put the illusion of gay?
This is why you have to like use the Sugar Babes as like
I know,
as
they're
a
just
thing,
a back.
yeah.
It's all completely genuine. He's the gayest straight man I know, and he is straight. I promise.
Said like a man who's tried.
Well, no.
This shirt's from Fat Face. I am straight.
Yeah. Yeah.
Thank you. So
Thank
your
you. Saying it like it's a good thing.
Your Spotify Wrapped is lies. All those hours you think you spent listening to Taylor Swift last summer, fabricated. The system was created with fake data and emotional significance, so you'd believe your past was real.
Honestly, it sounds healthy.
Yeah?
Yeah. The past is a foreign country.
What?
The past is a foreign country.
Exactly.
Wake up, brand new day.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Absolutely.
Honestly, this is such a healthy way of looking at things, though. You can't change it anyway.
No.
No, it's just what you focus on expands.
Well, you can actually. As the
Well,
creator.
apparently, yeah.
Yeah.
What would you forget about if you could? Any personal shame or trauma that you'd like to share?
Oh my God, loads. I can't really go into it here, but yeah, I mean, also that's saving it for an Edinburgh show. Which,
Obviously, that's the.
exhausted out of the
God,
last
yes,
two.
this is the problem. That
Well, I
we'll
keep
have
getting
nothing to
distracted by
talk
Sugar
about.
Babes related material.
Yes,
Like,
I can understand.
as the critics will attest to.
So honestly, it's very hard not to make a show about Cher constantly.
Well,
Keep trying.
You
I know.
should make a show
Well,
about Cher.
Just a Perfect Gay was virtually all about Cher anyway.
I remember.
So
I still have the badge.
and now this one I've had to like keep taking bits of Cher out because I'm like, there's too much Cher in this.
Well, it's what you're
People start
passionate
talking
about.
about your passions, don't they? But then sometimes they're like, maybe dial it down a bit. But I've not seen the show, so
I want to make it accessible to a wider audience.
People respond.
Yeah, because I'd like to pay my bills.
Okay. I was going to say, if you met wider audiences, but then
Yeah, they bring money.
Yeah, they do
and I
bring
have
money.
bills to
They do,
pay.
yes.
So
That's true.
I mean, Rose Matafeo had a show called Horn Dog, and it was all about what the things that she was
Yes.
passionate about. And one of the things she was passionate about was crocheting.
Yeah.
Well, following people that were passionate about crochet. But anyway, it's just an amazing show.
it's a great show, actually.
great show,
really
it
good.
is.
I mean, it's Rose Matafeo. It's like,
Yeah.
you know,
You saw that like 6 times, didn't you?
10.
Okay.
Yeah, I really loved it. I loved her.
God, and you only came to see my show twice.
Yes.
But you changed your life.
Changed my life.
So radical skepticism. Last Thursdayism is a radical form of skepticism. It suggests that nothing, not your memories, your senses, or even your idea of time, can be fully trusted. This challenges our most basic assumptions about knowledge. It aligns.
No, sorry, it's
Yes.
radical positivity, I think.
Well, that's kind of what we're saying here, because this is
Yeah.
about how you think about the world. So it aligns with Descartes' a philosophical project of doubting everything to find what can't be doubted. But while Descartes landed on I think, therefore I am, Last Thursdayism says, yeah, but even with your thinking, you might have been booted up with fake software last Thursday.
That explains a lot.
Yeah, I know, honestly, I just think it's looking at it the wrong way around. It's definitely positive. Do you either of you know who Brené Brown is?
No.
So Brené Brown is this incredible researcher based in America. She researches shame and vulnerability, and her whole thing is about vulnerability being the source of all connection and creativity. And one of her like things that she talks about a lot is that we only gain real freedom and access to vulnerability when we get to the point where we own our story rather than letting it own us. And I think that this kind of helps. If you're like, this is like, it's in the past, it's not even real.
Yeah.
It's so much easier to own.
Yeah.
It's probably not exactly what she's saying, but I feel like it would make that easier. A shortcut to the work, I would say.
Is there a particular book of hers that you like, or a TED Talk, or whatever?
So her TED Talk is one of the top 5 most watched TED Talks of all time.
Wow.
Available on the TED website. It's called The Power of Vulnerability. And she's had, I think, 7 New York Times bestsellers. But the first one you should start with is The Gifts of Imperfection. It's incredible. I'm obsessed with her. I love her. My life's goal is to meet her.
Wow.
Yeah.
That's an achievable
This is like a
life goal.
doable goal.
It's really not. She has one of those, like, she's incredibly famous, but to a small group of people, but to enough that it's quite difficult to meet her. So she's not got like Cher fame, which is like across the board. She's got like very concentrated fame, so you can't really like get her for speaking arrangements or anything anymore. She's a big deal. She's the only researcher or lecturer to have a lecture on Netflix.
Wow, that's impressive.
Yeah.
I didn't even know there were lectures on that.
There you go, see.
Wow.
God, I have been very weird on this podcast.
This is a weird one. Like, I mean, we have covered a lot of weird ones. This is a weird one.
Yeah.
I mean, weirdly,
Even you hadn't really heard of this. You'd heard
No.
a variant of this.
yeah,
But not
because
this
the
particular
young Earth thing's a real Christian thing, but the idea, like we can't disprove it, and we can't prove it.
No.
Life started last Thursday.
Yes.
Yeah,
I
it
don't
did.
feel like we need to prove it or disprove it. For me, I'm like, it sounds good. That's how I'm going to live my life. None of that bad stuff happened.
Good.
Great.
Every day is a new day.
Yeah.
But this is one of the theories about why the Last Thursdayists exist, is because actually that's how they want to live their life.
Yeah.
They want that release. It's an easier way of looking at life. It's an easier way of looking at existence. So it's freeing in a
It
way.
sounds really healthy.
I've got Brand New Day from The Wiz playing in my head right now.
Of course.
The Diana Ross version.
Of course.
So, out of interest, has anybody else come on the podcast and been completely converted?
We hope so.
Because now I feel like I'm a conspiracy theorist.
Conspiracy theories is just a way to shame people for seeing the truth.
Oh my God.
You know, like, and it does come from the research into the assassination of JFK. Did I tell you about the book I'm reading?
No.
Best Evidence, David Liftoff. It's about he was an accountant who was asked to research the Warren Report as an accountant, like a legitimate thing. And but no one's really read all of the Warren Report. But he's an accountant, and he's on this. He's got the TISM, and he read it all and went, oh, all these people that were witnesses have turned up dead.
Yeah.
That statistically is impossible. And he wrote this book, Best Evidence, and it's phenomenal. I thoroughly recommend it. And this idea that conspiracy theories are a bad thing, it's because it was for a cover-up. So
Interesting. I mean, I assume that we all believe that JFK was not killed by Oswald.
We do believe that, yes.
Yeah.
We're not saying Oswald
he could have been whether he's involved or not.
We don't necessarily think he was.
It's not the clear picture.
Yes.
No, he did. His bullet did not kill JFK.
Yeah. Okay. Although I don't even know if this is a conspiracy theory. This is just a way of looking at life.
Oh, absolutely. And that's kind of what we're trying to establish. But this is one, again, that doesn't really do any harm to the world if you believe this, right?
I think it can only do good. Like if you imagine you were wandering around without all the baggage of your past.
Yeah.
Like what amazing stuff you would do.
This should be taught in therapy.
Yes.
Yeah.
I think we should probably give a TED talk.
Yeah. Oh, I quite like the idea of that.
Me too.
Be quite a short one. We just go and go, everything before last Thursday.
Didn't happen.
Didn't happen.
Didn't happen.
You're welcome.
Yeah.
And now the creator.
Yes. I am going to make a show of that, I think. That feels...
Yeah, David Ian, the creator.
Yeah, you should. Yeah. So epistemic humility. The Last Thursdayism humbles us by highlighting how much of our worldview depends on faith in perception, memory, and continuity. It suggests that our confidence in knowing the past or even the present is based more on consistency than on social agreement than provable truth. The realization can inspire humanity rather than nihilism. David Hume thought we couldn't even justify cause and effect, just habitual associations.
What we're basically saying is life is perception.
Yes, exactly that.
Yeah, I firmly believe that.
I do.
Whether it's a broken heart or a broken sword, things only have the power that you give them.
I feel like I've heard that before.
But that really, it's what you focus on expands. What you want to be is, and I like that idea. It's just perception. If you think everyone hates you, everyone does hate you because that's all you're looking for.
Yeah, that's how you receive it. Yeah.
And if you think everyone loves you, that's the truth.
If you think everyone loves you, you're a fucking idiot. I don't mean you personally.
No, I mean you do.
I don't think anyone does. I don't think anyone hates you. I can't imagine that would ever happen.
My family does.
Oh yeah, that's true. They do.
And don't forget himself.
Oh yes.
Oh, yeah.
Yeah, you do a really good job of hating yourself.
Well, I feel like I've turned the corner.
Good.
I do. This podcast is part of that. Sorry, I'm getting over.
That's nice.
This specific episode.
Yeah, specific episode because we have the creator.
Yeah, and I'm like, don't be so bad on yourself.
Listen to some Cher, it'll be fine. So the role of memory, so like you were saying earlier, in identity. So our identity is largely constructed from memories. If those memories are fake, what does that make you?
Free to
Exactly.
be whoever you want to be.
Yeah. So Last Thursdayism unravels a personal identity. If your entire life story was installed like a software, are you or just a character with a backstory? And does it matter?
No, you're both.
Yeah.
Yeah. It doesn't matter because you're still experiencing things like
Great.
a great cup of tea.
Which we have from George.
We have from George the best
I've
cup of
heard
tea.
how amazing it is, yeah.
All the skill that man has, but he makes a great cup of tea.
So a thought experiment parallels the ship of Theseus. If all parts of you were replaced last Thursday, are you the same person?
Well, we could ask Cher that.
She looks fantastic.
That is very good. May I say? I almost want to applaud that. That's that. Yeah. Locke's theory of memory and personal identity. Westworld, the TV show, but with fewer robots and more Thursdays.
Is there as much nudity as there is in Westworld?
The first season was amazing, and then it just abandoned how great it was.
Yeah, it really did.
Can I just say, in this episode, you have mentioned two things, Westworld and Jurassic Park, both of which were written or created by the same guy.
Michael Crichton.
True.
Yeah.
True. Absolutely.
Look how smart I am, everybody.
Have you seen the original Westworld movie?
I love the original.
Yes.
I like it.
Yeah.
And
my favourite author, so yeah.
Oh, yeah.
Yeah. His best book is actually a book called Airframe that hasn't been turned into a movie or a TV show or anything. I highly recommend it. It's
Airframe.
incredible.
Okay,
Yeah.
I will get that.
I think his best work is Congo.
I like Congo.
I like Congo.
Okay, fair.
Mainly because Tim Curry's in the film, but
Oh, he always brings it. With Westworld, there was a sequel with Blythe Danner, who's the mother of Gwyneth Paltrow, called Future
yes,
World.
yes,
And I
remember
really love that, and people don't like that.
I love the fact that you felt you needed to explain who Blythe Danner was, and also that you didn't think to do it by she plays Will's mother in Will and Grace.
That's not. She does though, doesn't she? See, I think Will is such a bad gay.
Oh, he's a terrible gay.
I like can't stand him. I can't stand.
It's a
him.
problematic series, but
Yeah.
you know, of its time.
Of its time. It was important.
faith in existence. Faith versus evidence. Key idea of this is that Last Thursdayism parodies religious creationism, like young Earth creationism, by showing that a belief system can be logically consistent and still unfalsifiable.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Makes sense.
That's basically me saying it's as absurd as Christianity.
Yes, that's right.
I'm going to get hate mail, aren't I?
Christians are quite lazy.
Okay, good.
Yeah.
Okay, and if they're not, direct it at that comment.
Yes.
Ideally.
As a former Christian, directed at me.
I didn't say they were lazy, just insane.
Yeah. It exposes the tension between faith-based and evidence-based worldviews. If both rely on unfalsifiable foundations, where do we draw the line? If someone says the world was created in 4004 BC with fossils included, and you laugh at the idea it was created last Thursday, you're not rejecting logic, just the timeline.
Yeah.
True that.
This is so, yeah.
So what you were saying about your friends or your people that you met that believe the Earth was 6,000 years old?
Yeah.
It's the same theory.
Exactly.
Thing.
But you believing it.
I knew people that believed that, like, and yet had science degrees, you know, and, physics degrees, in fact, which is like you literally know the half-life of radioactive elements, and you're what, you know, you can literally figure out how old things are, and they're like, no, but this is God created it that way. It's bizarre.
But it had to start at some point. So why
Well, I mean, there is the argument that the universe is continual, you know, and that the Big Bang is one theory, and it's, I think, a prevalent theory, but, you know, space-time, it's always been here.
But it all relates to the same question of what do you think happened before you were here and what happens to you afterwards. And I've come to the conclusion that I don't care.
Doesn't matter.
Yeah, it doesn't matter.
You're not here.
None of it matters.
Bothered.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Bothered.
Bothered.
Occam's razor and philosophical laziness. Occam's razor says, don't multiply entities beyond necessity. In plain speak, the simplest explanation is usually the best. The Last Thursdayism adds a truckload of unnecessary baggage to explain something already explained by normal science. So even if it could be true, it's philosophically expensive.
Oh, I love the idea that it's philosophically
expensive.
That's a lovely term. That.
We've got expensive philosophical taste. Yeah, that fits.
I'd like to tell you I came up with that. I didn't. Last Thursdayism forces us to ask what counts as a simple explanation. Sometimes the simplest sounding ideas carry huge philosophical costs. It's easier to think started last Thursday than believe the narrative that we've been told.
Yeah, I'm okay with last. I'm trying to think what's happened since last Thursday specifically, but
Well, before last Thursday was
Remember
the whole
him.
of Cher's back
that's true.
catalogue.
Yeah.
true.
So
Maybe the start was when Cher. Maybe it was I Got You, Babe.
I got you too. No, I love Cher's early stuff because she
doesn't?
doesn't know how to sing in a microphone. She just blasts, and I
Yeah,
really
it's
love
like
that.
intense, isn't it?
Yeah.
Sorry, we're just gradually turning this into a Cher podcast. I'm so sorry.
Oh, it's fine. It's not even subtle anymore. So criticisms, despite its philosophical intrigue, Last Thursday has been widely criticised and often dismissed. Common criticisms include non-falsifiability. One of the key tenets in the scientific method is falsifiability. A hypothesis must be testable and be able to be proven false.
But if it was true, wouldn't they try and keep discounting it?
Exactly.
There's your evidence.
Yep.
Yeah.
Last Thursdayism is explicably unfalsifiable, as any disproof can be dismissed as part of the illusion. This places outside the realm of scientific inquiry into metaphysical speculation, but that depends on how you define science. And by science the way it was defined last Thursday, maybe.
Yeah.
Now, just listening to that, it does make me think I've been very on board with this all the way along.
Yeah.
And all of a sudden, it's starting to make me feel a bit like Trump, because I'm just like, this thing's true, that thing's true. I'm just like deciding on realities now.
We have to have some balance in this.
Yeah. So now I'm not sure.
Well, I think I agree with your positive review of it.
Yeah, fine, good.
Fine. Okay, I'm going to give you a couple of examples of the criticism. So lack of explanatory power. Although it's internally consistent, Last Thursdayism offers no predictive power or explanatory advantage. It does not improve upon existing models of physics, cosmology, or biology. As a result, it's often criticized for being philosophically vacuous or ontologically extravagant. That's a great term. Some of these are just great terms.
I don't know what that means.
Multiplying assumptions without necessity, violating Occam's razor. But again, based on what we know.
So what we're saying is is that basically saying because we don't understand it, because we can't prove it?
Yeah.
Like I can't personally prove or indeed understand how a plane flies. So I choose to believe it's magic. That's the same thing, right? I'm fine with that. I still get in planes.
I choose to believe that Jesus lifts it up and puts it where it needs to
puts it
be.
down.
Yeah.
Right?
None of us can prove why Cher doesn't look 79.
We can't.
I mean, there's probably...
she looks fantastic.
There's probably some receipts, is what I would say.
A lot of receipts.
She's had amazing work done.
Yeah.
Okay, and practical irrelevance. Even if Last Thursdayism were true, our behavior and decision-making would likely remain unchanged. We could still rely on our memories, evidence, and logical reasoning because they are the only tools we possess. This makes Last Thursdayism interesting as a thought experiment, but irrelevant as a practical worldview.
I don't think that's true.
Yeah.
Because
Last Thursdayists.
If I am now subscribed to this theory, which I'm fairly confident I am, then like I'm just not carrying all the baggage. I'm just living life differently. I am active. I'm not allowing all of the shame to influence maybe I won't put trousers on tomorrow.
I also don't think there could be such a thing as an irrelevant worldview.
Yeah.
Because it is relevant to you. So it can never be irrelevant. That's completely subjective, isn't it?
Yeah.
Fuck them.
Fuck them.
They really don't want us to believe this, do they? Which really makes me think it's true.
As a gay man, I love the idea that the universe came into creation last Thursday, because then that means I'm a couple of days old. And I quite like that. Because I will admit to 35, but I am older than 35.
Marginally.
But the awful thing is it means you'd have to do your 20s again.
I'd do them right this time.
That's a myth. I don't
Would
think you would.
No.
Okay,
My most unhappy period was my 20s.
Mine too.
Everybody needs light and shade.
And what we're saying is ours has been made up.
Yes, that's exactly what we're saying.
All pretend.
All light and shade has been made up anyway, so it doesn't really matter. Thanks to the creator.
Hang on, what if it's next Thursday? What if this isn't happening?
This isn't happening.
This is not. So it's next Thursday. So see you next Thursday.
See you next Thursday.
Now that's a better theory.
And what day do we release episodes?
Thursday.
Oh my God.
Oh my
Wow.
goodness.
Coincidence? I think not.
I think not.
So Last Thursdayism is not meant to be a literal claim about the universe, but rather a powerful thought experiment. It forces us to confront the foundations of our beliefs about time, memory, and evidence. By presenting a radical skepticism that cannot be disproven yet makes no practical difference to our lives, it challenges us to appreciate the provisional nature of knowledge and the assumptions that underlie our perception of reality. While it may seem like little more than a philosophical curiosity or a cosmic joke, Last Thursdayism reveals the fragility of certainty and invites a deeper exploration of what it truly means to know anything at all.
I just think it's radical positivity.
Boil it down to that.
It's beautiful.
Yeah, I just think just go off, because also it means nothing matters.
Nothing matters.
Well, nothing.
Not nothing, actually. Yeah.
Nothing
I
matters.
don't know, but
Don't go kill someone.
no, I think okay, fine. Don't go kill someone.
Just in case.
Just in case.
Yes.
So I agree. We probably always have to put that out there,
Yes.
just in case. But none of the stuff that you really worry about really matters.
No.
That's just amazing.
Yeah.
This has actually changed my life.
I've just now got the words of Cher's mum in my head, and we'll eternally have that.
Doesn't matter in 5 years.
Now you know how the rest of us live.
Yes. I feel free. So, David.
What do one of the Sugar Babes mums say? No, see, not a real fan.
True. I mean, also, which mum?
Well, you had loads to choose from and you couldn't
Mum's
pick
club
one.
is big when it comes to Sugar Babes. So, David, was the universe created last Thursday?
100%.
Okay. Other David, was the universe created last Thursday?
I like the idea of it. No, I can't go there. No.
Okay. Fuck it. I want this to be true. I don't think it was, but I want it to be true.
Me too.
Yeah.
Well, the thing is, can't disprove it.
Yeah, and
Yeah.
if you want it to be, then it is.
Yes.
So, other David, you're...
We think, therefore, it is.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Okay.
Can I just say, when we originally met, we were in a situation where we both got called Gay David.
Wow.
We were the only two Davids in this particular scenario, and we were the only
That's
two gay people.
Differentiating factor.
Yeah.
Yeah, we're
They couldn't
both
come up
gay
with
Davids.
another differentiating
Yeah. Right.
factor. Wow.
Because we look so similar.
Yes. You all look the same to me. It's so difficult to tell.
We do.
David, would you like to look into this camera and tell people where they can find you, follow you, where they can come and see your show, all that kind of stuff?
Okay, so you can see my show, David Ian Am I Mean, some dates in London in July and at the Edinburgh Fringe, whenever that is, 30th of July to the end of August at Gilded Balloon. And all the details are on davidian.co.uk, or you can find me on socials, David Ian Comedy on TikTok and Instagram.
Beautiful.
But I don't do that other one.
No,
Which used to be called Twitter.
none of us do.
Good.
Evil, just sort of cesspit of a place.
Yes.
So, would you like a Descartes joke to end the podcast?
Ooh, yes.
I guess, yeah.
Okay. Why is René Descartes considered a thinker?
I didn't know he was considered a thing.
Because he is.
Oh, God.
Now, that's a very clever joke.
That
Yes.
is actually really good. I
Not
think.
funny.
I was going to say, but
clever.
that is a good example of how clever is not always
So funny.
good for
It's funny.
comedy.
I think, therefore, I am. Yeah.
That's the end of the podcast. We'll see you next Thursday. Bye.
If you like the podcast and fancy extra episodes and early access every week, why not join our Patreon? Just £5 a month and you'll be helping support the pod. Remember, we love you. Bye.